Right now, beneath the surface of the ocean, thousands of meters deep, thin cables the width of a garden hose are carrying almost everything you do online. Your banking, your emails, the AI tools you use every day, the crypto trades you executed this morning. And according to reports circulating in early 2026, Iran has threatened to cut them. Not the power grid, not satellites, the actual physical backbone of the global internet. So today, we are going to answer the question everyone in the crypto space should be asking right now. If those cables get cut, what happens to Bitcoin? What happens to your portfolio? And what does this tell us about why decentralization actually matters? Stay with me. Because what you are about to learn is something most people, even in crypto, do not fully understand. Most people assume the internet is wireless, satellites, cloud, invisible signals flying through the air. That is mostly wrong. Over 95 to 99% of all international data, every international internet connection, every cross-border phone call, every financial transaction between countries, travels through submarine cables. These are fiber optic lines. They sit on the ocean floor. They span over 1.4 million kilometers. And right now, there are over 570 active cable systems operating globally. They are owned by a mix of telecommunications companies and, increasingly, the biggest tech companies in the world: Google, Meta, Amazon, Microsoft. These companies have been pouring billions into private cable infrastructure because data is the new oil and they want to control the pipes. Satellites, Starlink included, they handle a tiny fraction of global traffic. Too much latency, too little bandwidth for the volume the modern internet demands. So when we talk about the internet's physical infrastructure, we are talking about cables. Specifically, the cables that run through the world's most dangerous choke points. And right now, two of those choke points are sitting inside an active war zone. Here is what is actually happening as of early April 2026. The United States and Israel have been conducting military operations against Iran since late February. The conflict has escalated, and amid that escalation, reports began circulating, primarily on social media, that Iran has threatened to target or damage undersea cables in the Red Sea and the Strait of Hormuz. Now, and this is important, there is no confirmed official statement from the Iranian government making this threat. No major verified news outlet has formally attributed it. Some analysts consider it exaggerated or recycled from older warnings. But here is the thing. You do not need an official threat for this to be real, because the underlying risk is already here. Both the Red Sea and the Strait of Hormuz are now effectively no-go zones for commercial vessels. That means the specialized ships that repair and install undersea cables, they are not going in. And that changes everything. The Red Sea, specifically the Bab al-Mandeb Strait, has approximately 17 major cable systems running through it. These cables handle somewhere between 17 and 90% of Europe-Asia internet traffic. Even at the low end, 17% of global internet traffic through one narrow waterway. The exposure is enormous. The Strait of Hormuz has additional cable systems serving Gulf states. Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar, the UAE, Oman, plus connections to Pakistan, India, and Saudi Arabia. And here is something most people do not know. In March 2026, Meta's ambitious 2 Africa Pearls cable project, Bodemos, one of the largest subsea cable installations in history, had its Persian Gulf installation ships stranded because of the war. The project is frozen. The internet's future is being held hostage by geopolitics. Right now. Let us be clear about something. A cable cut in the Red Sea, or Hormuz, would not cause a global internet blackout. The internet was designed with redundancy. Traffic reroutes, alternative paths exist. But not a blackout is very different from no big deal. Here is what actually happens when major cables go down in a conflict zone. And we already have a real-world case study. In 2024, Houthi-related incidents in the Red Sea caused a ship struck by a missile to drag its anchor across the seabed, severing multiple undersea cables. The result? Approximately 25% of Asia, Europe, Middle East internet traffic was disrupted. One cable repair alone took 5 months. 5 months. Because repair ships could not safely access the area. Now multiply that by a full-scale conflict scenario. For the global economy, the numbers are staggering. Trillions of dollars in daily financial transactions flow through these cables. Cross-border settlements, forex markets, stock exchanges, banking systems. Delays or outages do not just slow things down. They can freeze settlements, spike volatility, and trigger cascading failures in systems that assume real-time connectivity. The Gulf states, UAE, Saudi Arabia, have become massive hubs for AI and cloud infrastructure. Amazon, Google, and Microsoft have committed billions to data centers in this region. These are the servers running AI workloads that companies worldwide depend on. Cable cuts would isolate them entirely. For everyday life, slower internet, unavailable services, degraded video calls, disrupted e-commerce and logistics tracking. Billions of people in Asia, Africa, and the Middle East would feel it hardest. And this is before we factor in the Strait of Hormuz's other role. Approximately 20% of global oil supply passes through it. Digital disruptions layered on top of an energy supply shock is a compounding crisis. Productivity losses could run into billions of dollars per day. And even in a best-case scenario, the repair paralysis caused by an active conflict zone means we are talking weeks to months of degraded service, not days. Now, here is where it gets fascinating for anyone in the crypto space. Because while traditional finance, cloud infrastructure, and centralized tech systems are deeply exposed to submarine cable disruptions, Bitcoin and the broader decentralized crypto ecosystem are built differently. And there is data to prove it. Researchers at Cambridge University conducted one of the most rigorous analyses ever done on this question. They studied 11 years of data and 68 verified cable fault events to model exactly how submarine cable disruptions affect the Bitcoin network. What did they find? Across 87% of cable fault events, including large ones, the impact on Bitcoin nodes was negligible. Less than 5% of the global node network was affected, even the largest single event in their dataset. When 7 or 8 cables were cut off the coast of Côte d'Ivoire in 2024, affected only 0.03% of the Bitcoin network globally. Think about what that means. Thousands of cables could fail randomly across the ocean floor, and the Bitcoin network would self-heal. Traffic would reroute. Nodes in unaffected regions would maintain consensus. The blockchain would keep producing blocks. This is not an accident. This is by design. Bitcoin does not have a headquarters. It does not have a single server. It does not have a data center that can be targeted. Its consensus is distributed across tens of thousands of nodes, across dozens of countries, across multiple cable corridors simultaneously. Now, and the Cambridge study is clear about this, random failures are very different from targeted attacks. If adversaries specifically targeted the higher centrality chokepoint cables, the ones that route the most traffic, the threshold for disrupting the Bitcoin network drops from needing 72 to 92% of global cables to fail, down to around 20%. That is still a massive infrastructure attack. But it is theoretically achievable in an extreme conflict scenario. And there is another vulnerability: centralized infrastructure that crypto depends on. Exchanges, trading platforms, custodial wallets, mining pools. Many of these operate out of data centers, including in the Gulf region. If those data centers lose connectivity, you would see short-term volatility, liquidity crunches, and price swings. But here is what is remarkable. The Bitcoin network itself uses Tor relays for approximately 64% of its nodes today. That additional layer of routing makes it even more resilient to geographic disruptions. So what does this mean for the Iran scenario specifically? Widespread but random cable cuts in the Red Sea and Hormuz highlight the most likely outcome of collateral damage in an active conflict. Would have near-zero impact on Bitcoin's consensus mechanism, its blockchain integrity, or its long-term price fundamentals. The network would not notice. What would happen? Centralized exchanges serving the Middle East could go offline temporarily. Traders in affected regions might face connectivity issues. You could see short-term volatility driven by fear and reduced liquidity, not by any actual change in Bitcoin's security model. Let us zoom out for a moment, because this is about more than one conflict. What the Iran cable threat reveals is something we should have been paying more attention to for years. The global internet has critical physical choke points, and those choke points are increasingly being weaponized as geopolitical leverage. We think of the internet as borderless, infinite, immune to geography. But underneath that illusion, a garden hose width cable sitting on the ocean floor is the reason you can send money internationally in seconds. The reason your AI tools work. The reason your crypto exchange has liquidity from global markets. And those cables run through some of the most politically volatile waterways on Earth. The good news is that diversification is accelerating. Starlink and other satellite constellations are expanding. New terrestrial fiber routes are being developed. Countries like India are actively building contingency plans for their connectivity. But in the near term, over the next 12 to 24 months, the concentration risk in these choke points remains real. And this is where the crypto thesis becomes relevant far beyond just number go up. In a world where geopolitical actors can threaten to weaponize physical internet infrastructure, where a conflict in the Middle East can freeze global cable repairs for months, the value proposition of a truly decentralized, peer-to-peer monetary network becomes very concrete. Bitcoin is not just a speculative asset, it is infrastructure. And it is the only major financial infrastructure in the world that was specifically designed to function, even when other infrastructure fails. That is not hype. That is architecture. So, what is the bottom line? Iran's reported threats highlight a real vulnerability in global digital infrastructure. The conflict in the Middle East has already disrupted cable repair operations and frozen major projects like Meta's 2 Africa Pearls installation in the Persian Gulf. Deliberate cable cutting by Iran remains low probability. It would harm Iran's own connectivity. But collateral damage in an active war zone is a validated, real threat. We have seen it happen. For the global economy, painful but survivable. Months of higher costs, congestion, and regional degradation. Not apocalypse, but not nothing. For crypto, the decentralized architecture of Bitcoin makes it one of the most resilient assets in this kind of scenario. The network itself would likely not notice widespread random cable failures. Centralized exchanges and services are the vulnerable layer. What this means for you, if you hold crypto on centralized exchanges in regions that could be affected, Middle East, parts of Asia, consider whether self-custody makes sense for a portion of your holdings. If you are thinking about Bitcoin's long-term value proposition, scenarios like this are exactly why the censorship-resistant, decentralized architecture matters. And if you are watching global macro developments, the intersection of physical infrastructure, geopolitics, and digital assets is going to be one of the most important themes of the next decade. We will keep watching this. If cables go down, if the conflict escalates, we will bring you the analysis. If this video helped you understand something most people in crypto are not talking about, share it. Send it to someone who thinks geopolitics has nothing to do with their portfolio. Subscribe to Crypto Clarity for clear, data-driven analysis on the intersection of crypto, global macro, and the forces shaping the future of money. Drop a comment. Do you think the Iran cable threat is real or overblown? I want to know what you think. See you in the